to me, it was just it was awesome. But I'm a Yankee fan, so it was me and my kids jumping around in a living room. That was it for me. It was awesome, And I'm wondering, what you make of the whole to-do over a 60-second home run. I kind of saw your Twitter feed. We'll get to that in a second. But what does this home run mean to you, Jeff?
To me, it was a capper on one of the great all-time offensive seasons. We can get into where this stands in history, but I think there are different perspectives with which we can look at history. And for me, history is this very unique sliver of time that we're in right now, where the average fastball is 94 miles an hour and you regularly see 100. Breaking balls that have been developed in pitching labs are moving with speed and spin like we've never seen before. The offensive environment in baseball is down a quarter run a game this year. And Aaron Judge literally and figuratively towers over the rest of baseball. He is so good right now. He has been so locked in this season. And just from the perspective of we like comparing history in baseball more than any other sport, and this number 61, regardless of Barry Bonds being the all-time undisputed home run king, both single season as well as for a career. I don't think Barry Bonds' presence diminishes what 62 means. I think 62 can be a special number, and Barry Bonds can be a record holder, and that two things can exist at once.
Well, the way I started the show, Jeff, and I'll just tell it to you here, since you are there in the state of Texas doing your own thing, is when any announcer is saying American League record, to me, you could just insert the word clean. That's the difference. That's what I believe. That's what I believe,
Rich,
Jeff.
no.
Absolutely.
Rich, do you
that's what I believe.
The problem with trying to bifurcate this record is that it opens up a Pandora's box that you just don't want to open. You just don't want to, because what is history if not filled with ugliness? Ugliness with which we have to reckon, yes, but ugliness nevertheless. The idea that there are two different types of sport. If you're going to do this, Rich, then let's talk about the clean championships for the New York Yankees, right? This is the Pandora's box you're opening now by saying that it's the clean record. In 2009, the New York Yankees had 4 either penalized or accused performance-enhancing drug users on their championship roster. In 2000, it was 10. In 1999, it was 6. In 1998, it was 3. In 1996, it was 2. Does that mean that the last clean New York Yankees championship was 1978? And do we have to partition these things off?
No, because that's a team. Because that's a team record, Jeff.
But Rich, you can't have one without the other. The implication is that there are clean sporting events, clean players, clean whatever you want to have it, and there are dirty. And that this is a very black and white line that you're drawing in a subject that is imbued with gray. We just can't separate these things and be intellectually honest about it. And that's my problem with what Roger Maris Jr. said about the clean record. Let's acknowledge that Barry Bonds used performance-enhancing drugs that helped him. I'm totally on board with saying that. Mm-hmm. And I believe that it colors the record that he set, right?
Yes.
But it doesn't invalidate it. It doesn't erase it. You can't do that to history. History has all sorts of nasty, awful things that happen in it. Babe Ruth hit 60 home runs, a record at the time, without black players in the league. You want to talk about like history that is sordid and screwed up. It's the fact that we as America were so broken as a country back in the 1920s and back in 1927 that we couldn't accept people into this league because of their skin color. And if you want to talk about performance-enhancing drugs, Rich, Babe Ruth's performance-enhancing drug was fastballs that came in at 85 miles an hour.
No, and I hear you. I get it. I understand it. I'm just also telling you there is a large section of the baseball-loving nation,
yes,
of which we're both part, that 1,000% in terms of an individual achievement. A single player doing one single thing, hitting home runs over a wall in a single season. One guy had a trapezoidal head when he came into the league. He did not. And another guy has looked exactly the way he's looked since he came into the league. And that guy just hit 62 home runs. And when somebody's saying it's a new American League record, yes, that is true. There is a National League record that is the all-time record. But that's also, you can insert the word clean. That is the communication that has been happening.
Can you? And I asked this.
Sure, go ahead.
I asked this looking back at 1998 when Patricia Maris, Roger Maris's widow, was on the road with Mark McGwire and celebrating everything he was doing and getting caught up. And this is not to imply I believe Aaron Judge is clean. I believe that Aaron Judge does not use performance-enhancing drugs. But the definitiveness with which people say stuff like this, I also believe that Fernando Tatis Jr. would never, ever use performance-enhancing drugs. And, well, he's out right now because of them. And so I think it's a hubristic thing to sit there and say that this is clean when we know
don't
nothing
know.
about it.
I know. I hear you.
And when, by the way, the different gradients of clean come down as much to what the FDA does and does not approve as anything. And I'm sorry, but I don't want the Federal Drug Administration to be the arbiter of my sporting records. I just don't want that. I sit here and I look at what Barry Bonds did, and I wish that he hadn't, because I believe that with all of his tools and all of his skills, he could have beaten 61 without using PEDs. But I think it's also problematic when we start throwing out this idea of clean, because it's ahistorical. What the record book says is that Barry Bonds is the all-time single-season home run record with 73. What reality tells us, Rich, is that 73 balls flew over the fence off of Barry Bonds' bat in 2001. And to do anything other than say that is essentially an assault on the record itself, and I just don't think that the record should be subject to that.